Paint me a scene, city in color, the way that you see, the way you see it, don't you?
Clear for takeoff, we keep it rolling.
Check.
Ready?
Ready.
Set thrust.
Thrust set.
Check. Thanks.
Eighty knots.
Check.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
LNAV.
Check.
Thrust ref. PNAV speed.
Check.
Cathay 2091 heavy contact departure.
Departures Cathay 2091. Good day.
In flight 130.
Zim, what's up?
I'm
What's
good
going
on
on?
you. I'm good on you, Captain. How are you? It's good to
Okay.
see you. You are in Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
Welcome to Harare.
Yeah, Harare.
Tulipa the ridge.
Yeah,
But
the
on
bridge. The fridge, is it? The fridge.
The fridge, yeah. On the ridge.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
On the ridge, in the fridge.
Yeah. I like that. Good afternoon, Captain.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Internet. Welcome back to my channel at GK Zim. It's been an honor to have an interview with the one and only internationally known Captain Obet of Cathay Pacific.
Hi, everyone.
The best in aviation industry.
I wish.
Who was made in Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Welcome to Zimbabwe, Captain.
Yes.
So, Captain, with to you, Captain Obet of Cathay Pacific. His motto on Instagram is, I fly, I educate, I share. And he is the captain of Boeing 747-8, the queen of the sky. Welcome, Captain, to my channel, GKZ.
Thank you.
Right. Captain, what inspired you to become a pilot? And what was your journey like?
Yeah, well, I always wanted to fly, you know. From the time I first got on an aeroplane with my mom, I looked up and saw this aeroplane as I walked up to it, and I thought, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
I was very much a young boy looking up at the aeroplane like that, and I thought,
Wow.
this seemed interesting. And when we got on board, it was a DC-3 which sits like this.
Yeah.
So as you go up, you have to hold on to the seats to go to the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and as you go up to the front seats, we're sitting somewhere in the middle. You can see the pilots sitting there, and I saw them, and I said, "Wow, these guys must be doing something really complicated and so on,
Wow.
with all those dials and switches." And I thought, "Wow!" And this was only a DC-3 compared to what you see now. You know? Yeah.
The 747-8, eh?
Yeah.
Right. How is the aviation industry changed since you started your career?
Well, mostly obviously technology.
Yeah.
Technology has taken over, and for example, in the old days when I started, a lot of the aeroplanes like the VC-10, 707s had flight engineers, which we don't need anymore, and that's been taken over by technology. So the flight engineer was dropped.
Wow.
And we've ended up with just 2 pilots, and there's even talk of having 1 pilot by Airbus is working on trying to have just a single pilot operation, which I think will take a while for people to get their heads around, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, nice, huh?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone looking to become a commercial airline pilot?
Good career, but do it because you want to do it. Don't do
Yeah.
it because somebody says a good job, no one am married.
It's not like that.
Yeah. I know you're married. Yeah, it's not like that. It's
Yeah.
nothing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything. For example, you know how they talk about diversifying. If you want to make money, have several income streams.
That's right.
Sure, you can do that, but I I'm a firm believer of just concentrating on one income stream.
That's
and
right.
being very good at that. That's where the money is.
That's where the money is.
Yeah, not
Did you hear that?
kind
It's not like that.
No.
Okay.
I reckon concentrate on one income stream and do it very well.
That's right. Can you just
That's what Michael Jordan did. That's what tennis players did. That's what they did. They didn't have 10 or 15 other things they were doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your mind can't. You just do one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can you describe a typical day in your life as a captain?
On a flying day, you mean?
Yeah, on a
Maybe?
flying day. Yeah.
On a flying day, I'm thinking about flying the day before and on the route, and I'm looking at the weather. This is the day before, maybe 24 hours before. I'm already looking at the weather. I'm already looking at the route structure. I'm already looking at possible airfields I could use for emergency reroutings and so on. I'm looking at all that.
Wow.
This is 24 hours before I even think about technology. And
Yeah,
we were saying
technology,
flight
yeah.
engineers have disappeared, and the aeroplanes, they're talking about a single pilot operation, which will take a lot of people to get used to, I suppose. So, yeah, that's what's changing. Yeah, I mean, nowadays there's the advent of GPS,
That's right.
which wasn't there
Yeah.
25 years ago, 20 years ago. There was no GPS.
Yeah.
Everybody's used to it now, but it wasn't there before. And now we use GPS, we use satellite navigation
Wow.
for approaches, landing, en route, and so on, which we didn't have before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's taken place technology-wise.
Wow. You know, I always follow you on Instagram doing some protocols that you follow every day,
Yes.
every flight. How do you ensure passenger safety? How do you ensure passenger safety
Okay.
or cargo safety?
Yeah. First things first. Remember that the pilot sitting in the cockpit wants to live as well. So they've got self-preservation. So that's what we have, self-preservation. So whatever we're doing our best not to have an incident, not to have an accident. So just trust the fact that we also want to go back home and
That's
see our
right.
families.
That's right.
I want
That's
to
right.
go back and see my wife, my husband, whatever the
That's
case
right.
may be.
That's right.
So it's not a case of saying, oh, I'm a pilot, I don't wait, I say. So, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those protocols, safety-wise, the best safety device, of course, in the cockpit. If I follow one of the magazines I followed when I was a youngster, is the best safety device in any cockpit or in any aeroplane is the well-trained pilot. That's
Wow.
where it starts.
Wow.
Then good equipment, well-maintained equipment. We rely a lot on engineering. The
Wow.
engineers are the ones that do all the maintenance. Without engineering, the pilots are not doing too much by themselves. So engineering is up there, safety-wise, because these machines are mechanical.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if the mechanics is fine, then us pilots then do the aviation
That's
bit.
right.
But
That's
it
right.
needs to be mechanically sound,
Yeah.
and engineering is topmost whenever we get to the aeroplane.
Wow.
So the engineers actually come to us and present the aeroplane and say, this aeroplane has been released for flight. Then we accept it. If they don't do that, we don't fly. The airplane gets
That's right.
the flight gets cancelled or we delay. There you go.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one there. Can you explain the pre-flight checks you perform on the aircraft? I normally see you, doing some pre-flight
Yeah,
checks.
yeah.
I
So-
love that.
So the pre-flight checks, there's checks of all the instrumentation. There's a routine. We check all the instrumentation, all the equipment. We check that the fuel we're taking is exactly what we want. And then one of the pilots also goes around outside to make sure that all the bits and pieces of the aircraft are intact and together. It's by law that we should do an external inspection to make sure everything is intact. Even though the engineering have released the aircraft, we still go around just in case something else has been missed and so on. So it's really just everybody checking everybody, we checking each other and all that. And then in the cockpit, while you guys are checking in and putting your bags on the belt to go through and then going through to the departure lounge, we are doing all the instrument checks. We're checking the weather en route. We're checking all those things and putting the flight plan in the computer to make sure it's going to route the correct way. By the time you guys are boarding the aircraft, we're now doing the checklist and reading them out to make sure that now everything is in place. As you board, as you get your drinks on board, that's what we're doing.
Wow. How there's a system on the aircraft called an Autopilot system. How does it work, and how do you use it?
Okay, autopilot system. So the autopilot only works if we set the aeroplane right. So it still has to be set correctly by the pilot.
That's right.
Okay, so it's a bit like if you've driven on the long expressways or motorways, as we call them in England.
Yeah.
If you've driven on those roads, the accelerator in a car can be set to cruise control. So you can set the speed and then hit the cruise control button and then take your foot off.
That's right.
But you're still there controlling the actual direction that it's going. All it's doing is controlling the speed, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the autopilot can fly you into a high mountain by itself because the pilot set it wrong.
Wow.
So we call it rubbish in, rubbish out. If you put rubbish into the computers and so on, the autopilot will follow that.
Wow.
You've heard of people driving off cliffs following what do you call it, the navigation system in the car.
Yes.
The car navigation system where people have been driving and just following it and they get to a dead end and they say,
how did I get here?
Yeah,
navigation.
Yes, So yes, an autopilot is handy, but the reason it's there really is not so much that it will do what it wants to do. It's there because if you're doing a 10-hour flight, you can't sit there holding the controls for 10 hours.
Wow.
So it's about fatigue as well.
Wow.
And things like in low visibility operations, the automatic pilot, we can set it and monitor it to do an automatic landing.
Wow.
Where we can't see. But the equipment is set up, it doesn't need to see anything.
That's right.
So we can't see using our eyes, so we use the instrumentation and the autopilot to fly the airplane all the way down to the ground.
Wow.
That's what the autopilot is there for.
Here we are, guys. We're back again. So I'm gonna ask Pilot Obet about personal. It's a personal and a professional development question. How do you manage the stress and pressure of being responsible for the safety of hundreds of passengers and also
stay
cargo
fit
as well?
Stay fit.
Stay fit, huh?
Yeah.
So you go to the gym, Pilot?
All the time.
Wow.
Gym. I personally use lately, in the last sort of 4 or 5 years, I use a lot of yoga to relax myself, and it's an exercise as well. But I do strength training, and reading is a good pastime.
Wow.
But you need a lot of rest, always.
A lot of rest.
Rest before a flight, so that you're in a clear mind. Yeah.
So how do you balance your work and personal life given the demanding schedule of a pilot? You know, I always watch you on Instagram. You are in Penang, you are in Australia, you are in New York, you are in Vietnam.
Communication, very important. Yeah. Because you need to communicate with family. And you've got to choose right when you choose a partner. If you choose your wife or you choose your husband, you better choose right. Because people must understand that you're going to be going away. There are sacrifices to be made. The partner you leave behind, whether it's your husband or your wife, has got to now stay at home. If you have children, stay at home with the children or pets or whatever. They have to now sacrifice the fact that you're going to be absent from home.
Wow.
You're going to be away from home for long periods of time. Things will happen while you're away from home.
Wow.
There'll be sicknesses, there'll be deaths. So you miss birthdays, you miss Christmases, you miss New Year's, you miss all sorts of things because you're flying away. We don't have weekends.
That's right.
As pilots, you don't have a weekend. The other thing you've got to think about, as a pilot, you're being tested every 3 months. You're doing a test, and the next 3 months you're doing another test. So you better maintain your proficiency. Otherwise, you get removed, get retrained, and you better pass that. And it's like that until you retire. It's constant training, retesting.
Wow. Right, Captain.
Hi guys, tachinja
we're back.
Nendiri kusaidu manje ndakunoko andinozvona ndozvandinoita kana chicha mafilm saka
okay, so we were talking about have you had any mentors in your career and what impact have they had on your development as a pilot?
I've always I've had lots of mentors, especially I think everyone at school will always have one or two teachers they will always remember.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So there's a couple of teachers that I've always remembered, that have always been in my mind. They inspired me. They pushed me to do things. I had one called Mr. Schofield at primary school, secondary school rather, who used to teach us science and physics, and he instilled in me a discipline about not being complacent with anything. He actually wrote in one of my school reports because I had done very well a previous term, and then the next term I dipped a little bit. And he says, Obet, he actually put in a report, he said, complacency leads to disaster, and I've
Wow.
never forgotten it.
Wow.
And
Wow.
ever since,
Still in
I've
your mind.
never been, yes,
Wow,
never.
like that.
So I've had mentors like that.
Yeah.
And then I've had instructors in my flying career who trained me to fly in Air Zimbabwe. I had a mentor called Captain Warburton who did my training. We had another mentor who I picked up a lot of things from in Cathay Pacific.
Wow.
You know, really good people, really good instructors that showed me how to behave, people like Captain Paul Barton
Wow,
and
wow,
things like
wow.
that told me quite a few things. They might not have known they were doing it, but just their behavior, their actions, I picked up all those things and copied them, and I use them today. That's
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Lastly, the other question that I want to ask you is about what qualities do you think are essential for a pilot to have, and how do you cultivate them?
okay. The qualities I've mentioned one already: discipline,
Discipline, yeah.
Dedication.
We talked about that.
okay, dedication, and resilience, because you're going to have to be resilient if you're flying international. Run. That's an ice cream guy.
Yeah, it is.
Ice cream,
Zimbabwe.
ice cream. That's Zimbabwe. Did you hear that? Ring, ring, ring.
Yeah,
that's a
that's an
guy
ice cream,
going
yeah.
by with one of those bicycles with ice cream. And
Yeah.
in the old days, would rush to
go outside
mom,
there.
to mom to ask for money to go and get some ice cream.
What was your favorite ice cream?
Actually, I used to like I didn't like the dairy board one. I liked the one from who are the other guys? Lion's Made.
But there was Lion's Made, yeah.
Lion's Made
Yeah.
used to make an ice cream called strawberry mivi.
Wow.
Strawberry mivi was the best.
Wow. Let's go back again to our questions. Yeah. What are some of the most interesting or challenging destinations you have flown to, and why?
Destinations, obviously, you know, I've been in Hong Kong for 30 years or so, and I used to be based at Cathay Airport. Cathay Airport was one of those airports which had a difficult approach. Well, it was difficult in the sense that it required a visual maneuver to line up the aeroplane at low altitude to land on a runway.
Wow.
So in strong wind conditions, bad weather, which Hong Kong gets a lot of, like typhoons, which in some places are called cyclones or hurricanes, it was a challenging approach. So I was based there for 7 years before they built a new airport. So that was interesting. It was always exciting to go into Hong Kong
Yeah.
and battle the elements and land the airplane.
Yeah.
Another airport I always liked flying into was San Francisco. It's just a nice airport. I don't know, there's something about San Francisco that just grabs you when you're descending into San Francisco. You see the Bay Bridge, you come round, and yeah, good airport. I liked it. I
Wow.
still do.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's a video that I saw you on Instagram.
Yeah.
In Japan, I think they've got a difficult airport, isn't it? Or
It-
just a straight airport.
It's a straight airport, but it's out
straight-
in the water.
Yeah.
It's reclaimed land, and they built a runway in the
runway,
water.
yeah.
2 runways now. They built them in the it's just out in the water, so they can be quite. You know, when it's in open sea, it can be very, very windy. So they're nice airports, as in once you're on the ground, but it can be difficult getting the airplane nicely stable and
Wow.
onto the ground.
Wow.
That's Kansai in Osaka.
If you've been to Japan, I think probably you guys, you know the runway. Eh? How do you adapt to different cultures, norms, and expectations when flying international?
The good thing is aviation uses English as the international language that we transmit on, we speak on, and so on. So wherever you fly, aviation-wise, everybody speaks English,
Yeah.
and you get by with English because that's the agreed language to use. Yes, in some places you hear French. If you're in France, you hear some Italian, you hear Chinese, and so on. But internationally, you use English. All those countries, the air traffic control, they use English
Yeah.
as well as maybe for local flights and so on. They might use their own vernacular language.
Wow.
Yeah, sure. But that's the other thing you've got to remember as a pilot. You're going to be working with different cultures.
Yes,
You're in a
yes,
confined space.
That's
in
right,
the cockpit.
that's right.
So you'll be flying with Christians, Muslims, you know, different people with different cultures and so on.
Yeah.
So you must be sensitive and understand
That's right.
that I'm working with different people, and
Yeah.
certain mannerisms must be tuned so that you fit in with everybody else.
That's right.
how the aviation game is.
Right. Have you ever encountered a serious emergency during a flight? If so, how did you handle it?
You know, when I was a young pilot flying in Air Zimbabwe, I was flying a Vickers Viscount, which is a 4-engine propeller aeroplane that Air Zimbabwe had quite a lot of them. They had like nearly 18 or 20 aircraft of that type. That's the first airplane I flew in Air Zimbabwe as a young co-pilot. You used to go, Air Zimbabwe used to fly from Harare to Masvingo, Gweru, Chiredzi. They used to go all that early in the morning and come back the same route and arrive back around 6 in the evening. We'd spend the day there.
Yes.
We'd spend the day in Chiredzi. Yes.
Yeah.
So, because of that, we had 6 sectors. So 3 landings out, 3 landings on the way back. And on one of my flights, I was flying with a captain, great captain called Robin Cartwright in Air Zimbabwe. I was doing the takeoff. I did the takeoff, and as we climbed out, one of the engines caught fire.
Wow. Chish.
Out of Masvingo, actually. Yeah.
Out of Masvingo.
Yeah. Hameno kunomboita sei kumasvingo. Masvingo necarpet pakuita sei.
Pakuita sei.
Ndege dzichitsva. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
so how did you manage that?
So this captain I was flying with, he just told me, look, you're flying, you're doing a good job, just keep flying.
Okay.
So I kept flying, and we did the emergency procedures, and he made me continue doing the flying. I flew all the way around, and we came back, and I did the 3-engine landing for real. Yeah, with passengers on board and all that. So it was good. So that was the first one.
Wow.
Then I've had a few engine failures, not hair raising, but I've had a few engine failures where we've had to shut down an engine here and there. And then most recently, some 5 years ago, I had a depressurization. You know how they say, if the cabin pressure changes in the cabin, masks like this will drop from the panel above your head and put it on and so on. We had that. And we had to put on our masks in the cockpit and do an emergency descent.
Wow. The last question, pilot, Captain Obet.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite airports or routes, and what makes them stand out?
The routes I like, I like all the routes to Japan, because Japan is a great place to go. It's a nice, but all the destinations in Japan are good. The food is great, and everything just works. You know, everything is just on time. It's pristine. Everything is clean. So I like all the Japanese ports. As you know, I obviously like Malaysia. I like Penang. I go to Penang a lot because it's a relaxing airport. It's a nice flight. We depart at a nice time in Hong Kong. We arrive in Penang, and the people of Malaysia are great people. So I like Malaysia. And the other favorite port I don't go to as much as I used to is San Francisco. I just like the city. There's something about San Francisco. I don't know if you guys have ever landed in a place where you land and you feel relaxed, and yet some places you can go to, even if you're going on holiday, you get off the airplane, as you walk to the building, you're uneasy. Something
just feeling that.
Now San Francisco gives me that feeling of just calm and relaxation. I don't know what it is, but it's a great city.
Keep it logged. We're gonna come back. We're gonna take a break. Keep it logged. There we are, guys. We're back again with
Madzoko.
Tadzoka. All right. Captain.
Yes.
Lastly, this is the last question that I'm going to ask you. If you were to change something in Africa, what would that be? And also, any encouraging words to the youth out there?
I'll tell you what I'll change. I'll take the approach that some of the forward-thinking countries, as far as aviation goes, do. A lot of people think the ndege ndedze mari vanhu vanokwira ndege vane mari hadzikwirwe neisusu tinongokwira mabhazi kukwira ndege shamwari pane mari inodiwa ipapo nyaya yekukwira ndege kai aiwa tokwira chitima tokwira mabhazi kana malifti shamwari nyaya yendege. Now I'll give you a good example. One of the great airlines, probably the greatest airline right now in Africa, Ethiopian Airlines. Now Ethiopian Airlines from long ago always made aviation available to everyone. They went to every small airport, they went to all the provinces, they had small airplanes, and I flew in Ethiopia for 2 years. You know, in those
like
wire baskets.
Yes.
Then
You're not serious.
No kidding. Ethiopian made it available to the ordinary person, the villager, anyone. In Ethiopia, everyone gets on the airplane.
That's right.
So the domestic market was thriving. We see
Wow.
Ethiopian today, it's flying all over the world, but
that's right. Yeah.
Ethiopian first captured the domestic market. Everybody
They
in
got it
Ethiopia-
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
we should have aeroplanes going all the time to Masvingo, to Gweru, to Chegu, to Ningi, to
Kariba.
Ningi. Vanhu
Yeah.
should be able to just go takumbokwira takumboenda kuningi, and it didn't cost much. They made it affordable for everyone. That's the advice
Wow.
I would give
Wow.
to the aviation industry in
Wow.
Africa. Follow the Ethiopian Airlines example. They're good.
Takambosiyana nezvendege takuenda music. Captain Obet, do you love any Zimbabwean music?
Mbira.
Mbira.
Zvekuti.
Munokolwa.
Iwo hauna kumboona ndakabata mbira mudege.
Ndakamboona
Oh,
Captain.
manje.
I like that. Mbira fan.
Yeah, I'm a Mbira fan for
Yeah.
sure. And
So
You know.
besides Mbira, which Zimbabwean songs you love?
I like Mbira, and I actually like the style of music that was done by Thomas Mafumo.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the style of music done by Thomas Mafumo wasn't this auto cue, whatever you call it, auto tune type thing. Everyone sounds the same. You know, if you know the current Zimbabwean music, in my opinion, if you take out Muimbi, Arimusong Yoyo, and then you take out my drums and so on, and just listen to the background tune, the beat is exactly the same. It doesn't matter kuti ndiana ari kuimba.
You're right, Captain.
The beat is the same. Mawedzi chete anongo muimbi ndo anozouya oita zvaanenge achiita, but you know, you've got to be creative.
That's right.
Next, we're not Rastafarians.
That's right.
All this Raja Master Farai and Rastafari, we're not Jamaicans, we're not Rastafarians.
Yeah.
Go back to what it was.
That's right.
Let people capture the original Zimbabwe music.
That's right.
Yaimbwa,
Yeah.
not this trying to capture another culture and try and mix it.
That's right.
Yes, it's fun and it's exciting.
That's right.
But maybe I don't understand in the chamber, is it? But I'm telling you, the best music was that music without all this fancy stuff
That's
that
right.
everyone's putting in.
Yeah. Pafana vari kuimba muzimbabwe muno mune wanero vamufollow kuna Japreza kuna Winky D.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely like Winky D. Ndoridza Winky D zvekuti and Killer T.
Wow.
Yeah, one or two Japreza. But for me, Killer T anoita because he's got some songs I really like, and the madam likes Killer T too. A lot of
wow.
few
And that song Kanandanyura. Wow. Tinoti handei na Captain Obet.
But right
Let's
now,
go.
My songs in Zimbabwe right now,
Arufaya.
Kungoti, I don't know, don't sound the same.
Please guys follow Captain Pilot _Obet on Instagram.
Ita innovation on music yenyu.
Yeah. Please guys.
Oh, Tami Moyo.
Tami Moyo.
Oh,
You
yes.
love Tami Moyo?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. I
Yeah,
love you too.
Yeah, Tami Moyo. Tami Moyo is doing a good thing.
Did you hear that, Tami Moyo?
Yeah.
One of these days we're gonna go to Hong Kong. Please guys follow Captain Obet on Instagram, Pilot _Obet on Instagram. Road to 200,000K. I know you're on 196K.
Cool.
Instagram. Yeah. So he's now going to 200K. So let's take Captain Obet to 500K. Wow. And also on YouTube, Pilot _Obet.
Yes,
I know you are on 36,000K.
Or something. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
but we want to take you to 50,000K.
50,000. I did it. Yeah.
Even 100,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. So please, Captain Obet, pass my regards to Madam Pess. Tell her I enjoy watching her on Instagram.
On Instagram. Okay. So I
Love
follow
that.
this chap too. So
Yeah.
GK is him. I follow him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a few actual vloggers I follow.
You follow too in
Yeah, I
Zimbabwe.
follow you. I follow. You know Princess Sane.
No, I don't. I need to follow her too.
She does a blog
Wow.
and and just when I want to see what's going on in Zimbabwe, there's this
You go back.
No, there's this lady I follow you. Then there's this lady. She does a vlog.
Did you hear that GK Zim?
Yeah, Sharon Mungazi.
Sharon Mungazi.
Yes, she's got a good blog.
She's on YouTube, huh?
Good vlog.
Yeah, I'll follow her
She's
too.
on YouTube.
I'll follow her
Check out for the people in the diaspora. I mean, she's a family lady, but she just does Rukungo Fambika Munomu Zimbabwe and what she does, and you know, it's not. It's just a casual pastime. 20 minutes of it. Yeah, she's not bad. So there's a few vloggers I follow here.
Wow.
For sure.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Right. I normally enjoy, I watch your Instagram. I normally enjoy your travels. Right? America, in Alaska. You're in Alaska. You're in Shanghai. I've been to Shanghai.
Yes.
Pudong International Airport.
Yes.
That's a big airport,
Big
a massive
airport,
airport. And I see you are taking a picture on Mount Fuji. I like
yes,
it when
yes.
you're taking that picture when you're 48,000 above the sea level.
Yeah.
48,000 feet above the sea level. I love that. In Japan.
Japan, yeah, that's
Yes.
Japan, yeah.
Yeah, and with that, we end our conversation with Captain Obet. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel at GKZim. Take me to 10,000 subscribers. And
See
also
you
don't
soon.
forget to follow Captain _Obet on Instagram and also on YouTube. See you in the next one. Keep it locked. Bye-bye for now. We'll see you in Hong Kong.
Later.
Cheers. Bye. Later. I like that.
Okay, for takeoff, we keep it rolling. Check. Ready? Ready. Set thrust. Thrust set. Check. Thanks.
Waiting for you. Wait until you realize. Waiting for you. Wait until you realize. Paint me a scene, city in color, the way that you see, the way you see it. Don't you wish that I could give you everything? 1, 2, 3, and my heart is racing. Can't fall asleep, I got my mind in a throw. Weightless, floating through the day. Trust that I'll be okay. I'm happy alone, but a little bold. Waiting for you. Wait until you realize. Waiting for you. Wait until you realize. If you wanna run ahead, I'll meet you where the water meets the earth we cling to. If you wanna find the edge, I'll come too. I could run around this world